Good morning. So I'm gonna, hello, Apple Brooks, honey. Hello, everyone. So I'm gonna do this again with my cell phone. It's neat to keep a track of the weather. It keeps me out of trouble. It keeps me out of trouble, but it's happening and it's really kind of dangerous. Listen to this headline from AccuWeather: Dangers to life. Property remain high in California as a storm onslaught continues. AccuWeather meteorologists warn that the moisture-packed system set to arrive early this week could be the strongest in a Pacific storm train that has been rolling since the end of 2022. You all, this is a senior meteorologist, and I don't think we're going to watch it. Well, we could watch, see what he has to say. He's been talking, but I didn't turn him on yet. Let's hear what he has to say, you all. Let's see the visual, if I can do it.
The break, and then an atmospheric river sets up later on tonight going into Monday and Monday night, and that's that column of deep moisture that can really enhance those rain and snowfall rates that can extend out.
Let me see this.
Again, thousands of miles, that channel, that ribbon of moisture. Another storm likely later on in the week. So here we are toward the mid-afternoon Pacific time, and there's our break, so to speak. Still some lingering snow showers and valley rain showers. Watch what happens by this evening. Here comes the beginnings of our next storm into the picture. Raining already around San Francisco before midnight, and then heavy rain throughout the overnight. And then notice
there
that
it comes.
atmospheric, that channel of high-octane moisture setting up here into Monday. Snows will be heavy throughout the Sierras. Snow levels will be rising up over 6,500 feet to around 7,000 feet on Monday, and then falling back down Monday night into Tuesday. Meanwhile, the rains will be persisting heavy at times as they shift their way into Southern California later on Monday into Monday night. So dangerous storm, extreme precipitation amounts coupled with saturated ground already, and there are ongoing outages here with power into central California. We're talking life-threatening flooding, the concern for catastrophic flooding with dam and levee failure risks, mudslides, rock slides, concern for road closures, damaging winds, and feet of snow, like I said, above 6,500 feet. Here's how much rain we're looking at. That stripe of significant rains, especially south of San Francisco. Look at this. We're talking 4 to 8 inches of rain, and AccuWeather local storm max of 14 inches. And then, like I said, feet of snow, especially above 7,500 feet. And, yeah, we're going to be measuring this more so with yardsticks as we work our way through the next several days. What all does this boil down to? A catastrophic risk to lives and property just south of San Francisco along the shoreline, including Monterey, all the way down to Point Conception. But many spots will see high to extreme risk to lives and property. Significant coastal flooding is also going to be a big concern.
So wow, you all, that's wild. I used to live in Monterey along that coastline, and the waves, sometimes they do get rough. But look at that, you all. Catastrophic, a frenzy of storms, least deadly impacts. Look at that. Deadly impacts since the end of 2022. So they started the new year off with all these terrible storms. And look at this. The onslaughts are far from over. One storm in the bunch is poised to aim a firehouse of moisture at the Golden State in the early of next week, which is this coming, leading to catastrophic flooding. And I really do believe that it's going to be catastrophic flooding. It's probably going to cause enormous erosion of the dirt, the rocks, everything, the whole entire shoreline. And if there's houses over there, they're liable to get washed into the sea. You are widespread, look, mudslides, whatever, and road closures. Good morning, everyone. Yes, you got to get your boats ready if you got a boat. Look, this is really serious. Now, they are telling the truth. The impacts from this storm cannot be understated. AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Bauer. And that is true, you all. Cannot be understated. You don't know what's going to happen. There's no telling what's going to happen in certain areas, but it will be catastrophic in some areas, you all. A A standalone storm, the amount of rain and snow expected would be enough to raise the flooding concerns and snarl the travel in the mountains. If you live in the mountains, that's horrible because you could get stranded on the mountain. If you have to go along the mountainside, I would not like that, especially if there's no guardrails and stuff. That's really, really dangerous. What sets this storm apart, they say, is that it could catapult it to an extreme and historic levels in preceding conditions. Look at that. Catapult it. That means it could thrust it. Numerous landslides. So you're really going to have this. It's the people going to lose their lives. You're going to have lots of mudslides. You're going to have extensive property and tree damage. There will be extensive property damage and tree damage, and there will be roads and bridges washed out. And you probably will have dam or levee failure. Widespread. They already got 500,000 people without power. And there is significant coastal flooding. You all look at that area right there. San Francisco. It's like the whole entire state is targeted by this storm. Look at that. Catastrophic, extreme, high, and moderate. Boom. It's going to wash away. And haven't they been warning that for years? It's going to wash away. It'll be tapping into a substantial atmospheric river. And if you remember, yesterday when we were looking at that, they said that this atmospheric river has 15 times the amount of water in it than the Mississippi River. Can you imagine a river in the atmosphere? 15 times more water, moisture up there than in the Mississippi. So it's going to tap into it. Just days after previous storms brought heavy rainfall and created significant flooding. So now the impacts that can occur, given that already the ground is saturated. Wow, it's already saturated. You got another one, John Porter. There's another chief meteorologist, bringing the rain and the mountain snow to the northern California and central California. The main push of moisture associated with the next Pacific storm is expected to arrive late Sunday night. That's tonight, you all. You better get ready. It's like that song, Baby, Get Ready. Me and you going fishing in the dark, lying on our backs, just counting the stars where the green grass grows. I did fish in the night one time. It was wonderful. I caught a lot of fish, more than the boy who was with me when I went fishing with him. He only caught 7 compared to my around 38 bluegill and crappie. Yeah, he didn't like it, but I came home and I skinned all the fish, and we got it ready, and my mom cooked them up. We had nice fish that day when we came home. It was wonderful. Flooding, you also look at with waves of moisture. Waves of moisture will continue to push onshore through through the first half of the week. That's continuous rain, you all. Continuous. Flooding from northern, let's see if I can get this focused in here, Jeannie. You got to get it going. Flooding from northern to central California is expected to be widespread flooding in northern and central California. You can see the flood right there. Heavy, heavy, heavy rainfall. Even catastrophic in some locations around the coastal mountains. The mountains, you all. Catastrophic flooding in the mountains? The coastal mountains in the northern central Sierra. The saturated ground, much of the water run off into the rivers, where more than a dozen monitored river locations are forecast to be above the flood stage. And even after rain stopped, the rivers continue to rise, and it takes a while for the river levels to go down. They'll burst their banks is what will happen. Burst their banks. More than a dozen are forecast to be above it, even in the Central Valley. So, yeah, let's look at this. Light threatening mudslides and local damaging winds. So you got the damaging winds on top of that. I wonder if those winds will get over 100 miles per hour. It's very possible since they've already had it. How can you prepare for something like that? You work your whole life. You take care of your place, so you have a home, you have a life built, and then comes like Mother Nature, more or less. Let's call it Mother Nature. In comes these forces of nature and destroys everything. Everything to you're left with nothing because it's life threatening, catastrophic damage, power outages, all of it. You're left with nothing after the storms of life come. And these are physical storms. Look at this. An additional 4 to 8 inches of rainfall can fall on many coastal ranges as well as the foothills of the Sierra Nevada. With an AccuWeather local storm max 14 inches of rain. That is almost around 1.5 feet of rain, more or less. I'm sure some are going to get even more of that, depending on where you are. And just think, it could, like flash flooding could occur, and that does occur really fast without warning. And when you have a flash flood, that water is going to rise so fast, and it's going to wash you away like a torrent. And it washes the cars away. It can wash the houses away. Let's see this. 2000 December the 20th, right after Christmas. Well, I guess they let people have some Christmas before the nature took in. The downtown area has picked up more than 11 inches of rainfall, a staggering 628% higher than the normal precipitation for that time of 1.76 inches during the stretch. The city recorded its weather 10-day period since the Civil War area, you all. The Civil War area. 628% higher than normal participation. Well, you don't want to participate in this. You don't have an option. You are a participant. When this storm comes barreling in, am I being too loud, you all? I'm getting a little excited. Well, I really do like looking at statistics. I do. 628% higher than the normal precipitation for the time frame of 1.76 inches during this stretch. The city recorded its wetted 10-day period in the war era. Heavy rainfall will continue to return to portions of Southern California Monday night and Tuesday. 1 to 2 inches of rain are expected with locally higher amounts. Motorists, if you are in your car, you're a motorist. You can even be a bicyclist. You can be a cyclist. You could be a motorist. You're urged strongly not to drive through the flooded roads as the water may be deeper than it appears. And I don't even know if a life jacket would save you at that point. And in some cases, the road surface may have been completely washed away beneath floodwaters. And when you're in these floodwaters, there's all kinds of debris that is in that water. You could get cut. There's no telling. Your leg could get caught on a rope that it got washed in the water, and you could get tangled by that. You could get tangled by tree roots. Stay out of that, you all. It's very dangerous. This is really, it can't be overstated. So look, the road surface may have been washed away. You can have potholes. You could have big sinkholes. Traveling along the windy, security road in hilly areas will likely to be hazardous due to flash flooding and the debris flows, you all. So literally, they're watching their very lives getting washed away, and it turns like debris. Debris is what it is. Anything outside your yard, anything, and even things that are secure. If you got raging torrents and stuff, it could just rip it down. Or the winds, first the winds would come and rip it down, rip it all out, blow your roof off, blow your cars, and blow your trees down, and then they become a part of the debris too. So the ground remains saturated with gusty winds accompanying the storm, the power outages, and the fallen trees. Could you imagine you got power outages because the poles have been knocked down, and then the water comes. Then you got hot wires in the water. You could get electrocuted. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Don't think I'm going to ride out this storm, and then when the storm's over, or while it's going on, I think I'm going to go outside and check out in my boat to see what's happening. No, don't do that. You all don't. Don't even get your waders on. You know those waders that you put on and go all the way up to your chest, like bib coveralls, but they're waterproof. I've got some for our pond. Don't even do that, because it's kind of dangerous unless you're trying to save somebody's life. You might lose your life in the process too. But no, it's really not safe to go walking around in that thinking you're going to take all precautions because you could get something could happen in a blink of an eye and there'll be no more of you. And then if you have a family, there's nobody left for your family. Now then they're really in trouble. Yeah, it does sound really the ground is saturated. Look, airline travelers, okay, are likely to face another round of delays and possible cancellations. Well, you know there's going to be cancellations if the runways are washed out. And you have fallen trees. You could even with these storms. Now let's think about it. If you're at an airport and stuff, and you got 100-mile-per-hour wind or something coming through, it could, and they have I don't know. It's like tornadic activity, really, and rain. It could blow off roofs. Mm. And could even have an earthquake on top of that off. Let's add some more stress to the earth on the cracks of the earth. Let's add more stress to this area, and then the earthquakes are going to come because it's like you're breaking the back. You put too much on the back of California, and it's already got cracks, and you're going to break their back. They're going to give way, and it's just going to break. And then they're going to be in big trouble with this. This could have a domino effect if you think about it. Even the airports are not directly impacted by this storm can face a backlog of flights and crews. Okay, yeah, so you would have a backlog because you probably have people who want to get on the airplanes and they can't because they can't make it to the airport, or the flight, the crews, they can't make it for one reason or another, or the electricity goes out and now you're really stuck because your systems are down. Yeah, it's a domino. If you think of all the different types of scenarios that could happen. Surging waters on area streams and rivers are likely to lead to flooding in unprotected areas. What is an unprotected area? Well, I guess an area that has not got sandbags and stuff like that, or like a dam wall. Yeah. Rising waters will test the levee systems and dam spillway capabilities. Residents throughout the region are urged, you better get yourself a emergency kit, you all. You got the storms rolling in Sunday. That's today. You got some powerful storms rolling in, and you better got yourself an emergency kit. And you better maybe you better read up on what you need to do if something happens, like the power's out. You better have a plan. Look, know more than one way out of your community in the event of an evacuation. What did they say they were preparing yesterday? We're preparing for war against the storm. That's what was it the mayor of this city? We're preparing for war against the storm. That's really supernatural. A statement like that is supernatural because you are fighting against something that is not human. It's not. And you can't control it. That storm is more powerful than you. And the effects of it is greatly powerful. Cthulhu, can control the storms too. Really. Let's hope we don't see Cthulhu rise. In addition to the life-threatening rain, and it is rain impacts. When they say impacts, all the things that could happen due to this, what do they call it? A stream of moisture in the atmospheric river of moisture. The rain impacts. Oh yeah, it will unleash another round of heavy snow that will be measured with yardsticks. Yardsticks, you all. Yardsticks go above your knees, depending on how tall you are, and it can go up to your hips. A yardstick. It could, if you're a child, it'll go over your head. Another round of heavy snow that will be measured with yardsticks and lead to snarled travel. If you got to go to work, hopefully your work will not require you to come in there. Everything's probably going to go to a crawl with all that kind of stuff. Sierra Nevada. Well, they ain't got Nevada in here. Sierra snowpack, 133%. Central, 158. South, 184. Initially, you all, let's see about these snow levels. Thank you for your comments. I'm trying to read this. I had to concentrate because I can't multitask and get into reading if I'm trying to look at the comments. Thank you, moderators. Initially, the snow levels in the Sierra will be rather high, likely above 7,000 feet. However, as the colder air works its way across the state, snow levels could fall to 5,000 feet on Tuesday. So the AccuWeather senior meteorologist Dan Paidonovsky, so that's just 3 meteorologists in this article, said adding that snow could work its way southward into some of Southern California mountains as well. The snow will be making travel very difficult, and it will be beneficial for ski resorts and building the snowpack in the mountains, which will lead to increased water supplies later this year. But then you're going to have catastrophic damage, is what you're going to have. Catastrophic damage, and will everybody be able to go out and snow ski? No, and I don't want to go snow ski. Been there, done that, and no, at my age, no, I don't want to do it. I might get on an inner tube, but it better not be a big steep thing. The inner tubes are fine to go down a nice steady incline on your inner tube in the snow. That is nice. AccuWeather's long-term range experts say the pattern of the Pacific storm slamming the West Coast, which has already placed a significant dent in the drought, is likely, oh my gosh, to remain in place through the middle of January. So this is the drought monitor visuals right here, you all. So this is October. It looked like that. Exceptional drought right here. And then in January, you see they got rid of the exceptional, but then all this area is going to be washed out. You're going to have catastrophic damage. I guess you'll have to do rebuilding and all this kind of stuff, you all. You really will, because this is, yeah, we got the drought that, you know, the crops and stuff probably weren't able to do that. And then your ground is all completely dry and cracked. So your topsoil's going to get washed away by the flood. That's what happens, you all. It washes away the topsoil. That on top of the wind that blows through too. So yeah, the ground will be saturated, but where's it going to be some good fertile soil? I don't know if there's going to be any soil left, you all. Around that time frame, the storms will tend to swing to north and farther inland. Then what happens is the precipitation amounts will tend to dwindle in California, but then they'll ramp up over the interior west and could impact the Colorado River basin with more significant precipitation events. So I think the Lake Mead, they got the water from the Colorado. It's really dry. When we lived there, it was pretty high up, but then when we lived there after 7 years, when we went to this St. Thomas Cove area and we would camp with the kids, the water level at that time, it was like the mid 90s. It was already dropping, and you could see like that town that got flooded out for that. You could see some remnants of that in the water. Okay, let's see. So storms are likely to resume during February and March. Wow. Look what happened to March winds bring April showers. What happened to that? This is way before then. This is way before then. It's like I don't know what's happening. So just probably not so February to March, just probably not the magnitude as it is occurring now, and what is likely to continue through mid-January. AccuWeather long-range meteorologist Paul Rasseltalk, so that's the fourth one. Is this the fourth or the fifth one that they have on here? They added that Northern California and Central California would be out of the drought situation by summer months, but will they be able to get their crops in? Will they be able to get their crops in, or the land will be so saturated that you will not, and the topsoil will be washed away and you won't be able to do your crops? This is like wild. So look, widespread flooding across California from atmospheric river right there. And then you have California weather, dangers to life remain high. So look at these, at least 560,000 homes without power. It's probably more now with rough weather coming. So it kind of looks apocalyptic looking. It does. 560 storms. So look at this. You got the firefighters out there they're at risk too. They're putting their life at risk. These rescue workers and repair people, their lives are at risk because something could happen to them too, you all. Well, lucky for them, they're not freezing to death, but if they don't got fresh water, what are they going to drink? Really, if you don't have a home or nothing to go to, you're still in a dire situation, you all. So it they need our prayers, you all, because they got an onslaught of this massive storms that have rode in to California, and it's life-threatening and all of that. Let's go back up to this the storm impacts right here. It's horrible. It really is, and let's hope that we all have a plan. Really, we got a plan. We know what to do in any situation, and the most important thing is that as long as we have each other, yeah, we got to have each other. We can be aware, raise awareness, aware enough to be prepared, but don't fear it. Don't fear it. Just get that warrior-like mentality that you need in order to face any type of storm, even if it's spiritual or real world like this right here, because they're not playing. It's historic. They have not seen this much rainfall since like the Civil War. Is like 628%. So it's really interesting that they referenced the Civil War. Really, it was. Where was it at? Right here. It was a 628% higher than normal average for that time of 1.76. The city recorded its wettest 10-day record since the Civil War era. So it is yeah, you don't want to downplay it. Don't downplay it, you all. Really don't. So I am going to go, and thank you all for watching this video, and please give this video a thumbs up. You can hit that subscribe button, you all. This is it's wild, because it puts more stress on the earth. It does, and especially in this area that's already earthquake ridden. Add all that weight of the water on its back and see if it don't crack. That's right. I'm going to go. So thank you, Applebrooks Honey. If there's any other moderators on here, thank you. And hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you.